Hi friends, hi yogis. Welcome to our practice. Greetings to you all from beautiful Burlington, Vermont. I went to college here, late 70s, graduated in 81 from my physical therapy program, and Vermont has always had this very green place in my heart. I feel like I'm recharged here. I feel like this is a place I want to come to for the rest of my life. I would love to lead you through a practice today from these Green Mountains. I thought how appropriate, we'll do some standing, some tree poses, some things for rooting. So see if you can maybe transport yourself in your mind to this beautiful little tiny state. Perhaps you've been, perhaps you haven't. One of the wonderful things about teaching virtually, take it on the road with me. See if you can find your roots here. Many of us sitting up on the edge of a blanket or some sort of prop to allow our pelvis to find its interior tilted place. We know that when the pelvis tilts forward, it allows for the spine to begin its journey north. So see if you can feel that slight tilted forward pelvic bowl, or use a prop to encourage it. Feel the softening of the legs. Feel how they root and release down towards the earth. Maybe start to feel the energy move from your hips, down your thighs, out your knees, directed towards the floor. Find the arch in the low back, the natural curve. See if you can draw the low ribs in, find the binding of those low ribs. We bind in those low ribs because it's a very mobile segment. You want to contain that, an awareness that when you bring your heart tall, your low ribs are not popping forward. So instead, a binding of the low ribs and an opening of the big heart. Perhaps you can feel how your head is now slid back into its bobble-headed place. The back of the skull aligned with the sacrum. Take your hands back behind your big open heart. Start to feel the energy move from your shoulders, down your arms, out your fingertips, maybe a little tingling and buzzing. Becoming aware of the sensations in our bodies. Let the elbows release towards the hips, the palms are up. Receptivity, or you can turn them down for a little bit more grounding. Take a moment here with your eyes closed to go inside your bodies into your internal architecture. See what's being fed back this morning, this afternoon. All those sensory satellites in our periphery feeding back information to our brains. See if you can cue into what's being fed back, not necessarily looking to change anything, more just observational. Where are we beginning? What's happening in your mind today? Maybe the mind is full and racing. It's a wonderful opportunity to slow it all down and bring ourselves back to our homeostasis, our even balance with our breath. Let's go ahead and find your breath this morning. I recommend inhaling through the nose and exhaling through the mouth through pursed lips. Reminding you that inhaling through the nose is the purest way to invite the prana, the life force, into us. Hydrated, purified, warmed. See if you can feel it as you inhale. Comes deep down into the lungs. We offer it in. And then as you exhale through your pursed lips, we can hear and feel the exhaust as it leaves our body. In that exhaust, we have all that physiological and mental debris, all the things we're trying to rid ourselves of. This is a way to escort this out of your system, to prove that you're purifying our sacred bodies here. We practice now all around the world with our eyes closed. See if you can envision all of our other yogi friends sitting and finding their breath, and perhaps we can unite our breath with that thought. So let's sit, inhaling and exhaling consciously, maybe trying to make your exhalations twice as long as your inhalations. It's another potent way to tell the mind that we're moving into relaxation. So let's find our collective breath here for a moment. Before you open your eyes, take your thumbs, cross them like bird wings, and place them lightly over the heart, center of the chest, our heart chakra, our compassion center. Feel your heartbeat inside your chest. Feel the warmth in the palms on the outside of the chest, centering and finding this peace and serenity. We stop for a moment, feel our humanness. Blink your eyes open, look at the front of your mat, bring the gaze back up. Let those helium arms rise. Fingertips to the ceiling, to the roof, to the sky, way out into infinity. Feeling how we're so much more than just our physical bodies, where the energies start to leave the fingertips and down through the sit bones into the earth, connecting us, grounding us, rooting us, and allowing us to rise. Pull those low ribs in, look up at your hands, take the thumbs back behind you, open up the upper back, and see if you can fit your head between the elbows there, touch the palms together into steeple hands. You go, index fingers right through the roof again, elbows squeeze the ears, low ribs engage, and back bend the upper back. Yeah, finding the unrounding of that upper back, replacing it with an awareness of low ribs engaged and a broadening through that whole upper back. Inhale. On the exhale, press your palms together, lower the hands down to remain central. Third eye, tip of the nose, lips, throat, under your big heart. Thumbs to the heart will rise. Inhale. On your exhale, spin your hands to the earth, and let's get our necks to release. Hold the right hand to the earth. Inhale, and on the exhale, let left ear soften in towards left shoulder. Nice and easy, allowing the ear to find its path towards the shoulder, trying not to pull it down, but softening right side of the neck, letting the weight of your head and gravity do most of the work. Let's go ahead and turn the right palm up today. So turn the palm up and you'll get a little flossing of the nerve. Feels so yummy. Turn the thumb back. And then bring the hand back to neutral. Inhale the head back up to center. And on the exhale, opposite. Left hand is your anchor, right ear, right shoulder. Softening. Identifying in your mind's eye where the hold is, and use the breath. Send the breath to the spot that you're holding, and you'll see it will soften. Turn the left palm up now, thumb to the back, and you'll floss that nerve. Get a little bit of tingling in the neck and maybe down right into your thumb. Turn the palm back on the inhale, pull the head back up, and on the exhale, left hand turn with the chin, look over the horizon line. We know that keeping chin on horizon line is the advantageous position to find the rotation. See if you can keep it in your neck, all 7 vertebrae sharing. And when you've come to the end of the range, go ahead and shake the head yes a little nod, clear out some of the tissue, and then look over the shoulder perhaps a little bit more. Inhale back through center, and on the exhale around to the right, chin on horizon line. See if you can carve out the path, and at the end of the range, a little bit of chin up and down. Bring it back to neutral, look over the right shoulder. Inhale back through center, exhale around to the left. Same thing, right through that path. A little cleaner this time. And let's go deeper. Inhale. Exhale, right hand will hold the floor, the chin will move out or towards that left shoulder point. Oh my goodness, accentuating the stretch on the right side of the neck, sternocleidomastoid and scalenes. Inhale the head back up again through center, exhale around to the right. Inhale, exhale, chin out towards or to right shoulder point. Find that opening. Beautiful, yogis. Inhale back through center, and on the exhale, let the chin release into that jugular notch between the 2 collarbones. Try to have it all happen in the neck. Don't involve the shoulders or upper back yet. Let's trace the chin on the collarbone now. Inhale, and on your exhale, trace the chin along the line of the right collarbone. We keep it in contact with the collarbone the whole time, and if it starts to leave, then stop at that point. Otherwise, see if you can excavate out all the way to that shoulder point again. Inhale back through center, and on the exhale, left hand, turn chin on collarbone, trace it out. Inhale back through center. On the exhale, reaffirm, press the sit bones, fingertips, pull low ribs in and bring the heart nice and tall. Crown of the head lifts to the sky for a moment. Inhale again, and on the exhale, push your heart forward as if there's a hand behind the heart. Let the head slowly start to release back. Find as many vertebrae to share the movement as possible. Shine the heart to the sky. Slowly, provided there's no dizziness or pain in your spine, let your head release back. Big stretch from chin to collarbones. Inhale your head back up, neutral, and exhale. Take your L hands under the tops of your thighs. Give a push down under the tops of the thighs, that's our grounding, and start to rock the pelvis forward. We know this, our skeleton, our pelvis is rocking on the fixed thighs. Pull the low ribs in, tuck the chin, and slowly start to release the heart towards the earth. The crown of the head is moving towards the top of your mat like a hood ornament, using our core to decelerate us down. Take your elbows to your side, now turn your palms up. Inhale. On your exhale, spin the hands down towards the earth in front of you. Index fingers forward, thumbs towards each other. Imaginary marble under index, roll it to the thumb. Hold down the thumb and index. That's the mobile spot that we need to stabilize. Your wrist creases stay where they are, and let's spin the elbow creases, inside elbow creases, towards the sky. The shoulder blades will adhere right onto the rib cage, and you'll lower your elbows down to the earth, to a prop, to something. Press your hands and elbows into the earth and find your hood ornament again. Pull the crown of the head towards the top of your mat. Sit bones are off the ground. We have deep hip creases here. We can find some beautiful length to the spine. Maybe you'll crawl your fingers out another notch and allow the crown of the head to release towards the earth now. Decompress the whole spine. Inhale the head back up to neutral. And exhale, walk your hands back up to tall sit position. Nice start, yogi. Switch your legs now. Opposite cross. Let's take our arms up for our cactus arms, widespread fingers. Open and close the hands. See if you can find some energy moving through your forearms. All the texting and typing we do, see if we can free up some of that space. Shine the palms nice and wide. Take the thumbs back. Inhale. Exhale. Drop the thumbs back behind you for your hitchhiker shoulders. Drop them back. See if you can feel the movement of the ball in the socket. Inhale forward, and on the exhale, drop them forward. Ball rolls in socket again, shoulder joint. Press the palms towards the back of the room. Inhale them back up again, and on the exhale, gracefully let them back. Second round, hitchhiker shoulders. Inhale forward, and exhale, drop them down. Good. Trying to find those isolated movements, right, throughout our body. Bring them back up again on the inhale. And on the exhale, bring them together for your fly machine arms. Touch your palms and elbows together. Turn your hands to face you. Inhale. On the exhale, push the sides of the hands and elbows together and slowly start to take the arms up. It's an isometric press that we come up. We strengthen our neck and shoulder girdle. Go ahead and pull the elbows apart now, and oh my goodness, pull them down through that thick fluid and reset the whole upper quadrant shoulder girdle complex. Let's buzz through that 3 times. Pressing up slowly, trying to keep the elbows together, and when you can't anymore, they peel apart. Inhale and exhale. Release down, elbows into side pockets. Last round, take them up and around and release them down. Elbows at the side, turn your light bulbs. So light bulbs to pronate and supinate our forearms into our queen wave, and then hallelujah arms up overhead. Starting to feel the freedom in your hands and your forearms, back to your light bulb hands, and go ahead and shake them out for a moment. Good. Let's take the arms up now, and we take them up, we know, from the shoulder muscles, not from the upper trap. So if you want to, take the shoulders way up and then drop them down. Hold from rotator cuff and deltoids that are right over the shoulders. Reach those fingertips way out to the side of the room. Feel the energy move through. Inhale. Exhale, look over the right shoulder with your arms extended. Look back behind you. Inhale back to center and exhale, look left. Bring it back to center. Grab your tennis balls and start to flap your wings. Warm up the shoulders, the muscles, all the fluids that move through our joints to lubricate. Let's find the graceful bird wings, our pterodactyls in flight. See if you can really find that free flight feeling for a moment. And let's turn our pterodactyl arms into eagle arms. Take the right on top, left on bottom, elbows married. Fingertips of left hand into palm of right. You guys know how to customize. Hands, backs of the hands, or just unwind the shoulders. Inhale. On your exhale, push your right elbow into your left and draw your shoulder blades forward. We're starting to find that separate movement, right? Shoulder blades moving on rib cage rather than leaning forward, it's only at the blades. Inhale them back, and on the exhale, pinch them back, pinch the blades together. Inhale it back to center. On the exhale, right hand turn with the arms. It's a stretch of the back of the left shoulder and a mobilization of the right shoulder. Inhale, and on your exhale, look over the right shoulder. Another rotation in our neck. See how it's starting to free up. Inhale back to center, and on the exhale, left hand turn with the arms. Feel that beautiful stretch first. Right posterior shoulder, and then gaze over left shoulder. Inhale back to center, and on the exhale, we drop our elbows first. The shoulder blades will rise. We start to stretch the lower traps and rhomboids. And then let's add the spine to it now. Start to round the spine. Left elbow might touch the bottom of the rib cage. And see if maybe you can let the crown of your head release towards the earth. Feel that big, broad, open back. Inhale the arms back up to center. On the exhale, pull the low ribs in again, and then take the elbows up. The blades will slide down the back now. Point the elbows towards the sky. Imaginary hand behind the heart, push it towards the heavens, and then maybe let the head release back. What a beautiful opening of our upper back and shoulders. Back to neutral, yogis, on the inhale, and on the exhale, release the arms down and take them up, opposite, left on top, right on bottom. Do your customization to be sure you can be comfortable enough in the pose. Inhale, and on the exhale, take left into right, draw the shoulder blades forward. Inhale back to center, exhale, pinch them back. Inhale back to center, right hand turn with the arms. Gaze over the right shoulder. Inhale back to center. Exhale, left, arms, and then the gaze. Inhale back to center. Release the elbows down. Blades will slide up. Start to add the spine to it and find some movement in that upper back and chin, neck. Inhale back to center. On the exhale, pull the low ribs in, take the elbows up. Feel that freedom starting to emerge. Hand behind the heart, take the elbows to the heavens, and maybe let your head release back. Inhale back to center. Exhale, release the hands, thumbs to the top of the thigh bones again, and start your rock forward. So same thing, just opposite side. Keep the chin tucked, keep the belly engaged. Slowly lower down. Elbows into the side, palms are up. Inhale, exhale, spin them out, take them down, maybe a little bit farther out. Find the grounding of thumb and index. Elbow creases roll to the sky. Inhale, exhale, release the elbows down to the floor or a prop. Keep the chin tucked. Press the hands and elbows into the ground and bring the crown of your head. See if you can touch the top of your mat. Find a lane to your spine. Each one of those vertebrae comes apart a little bit, lubricating the joints, feeding our discs. Maybe let the head release towards the earth. Inhale it back up, and on the exhale, walk your hands back up to tall sit. Let's move right into twist. Take your right leg over your left. Maybe still sit up on your prop. Press the fist to the earth, lift the pelvis, and when you put it down real lightly, trying to find the big toe knuckle, the right foot on the ground, your hands are on your knee, and your heart is wide open, this big, tall sit position. Inhale the arms out. And on the exhale, we'll open twist. Keep your nose over your knee for as long as you can. So make a turn to the left, twist the rib cage. They attach the ribs into the thoracic spine. When your heart is facing to the left, then simply let your head turn. We've warmed up our necks, and look how far you can rotate. Inhale back to center. And on the exhale, nose over knee, make your turn again to the right. Turning, twisting. Then turn the gaze and look towards the little finger of the right hand. Inhale back to center, repeat, same thing, nose over knee. Look how the body's cooperating a bit better now. Look to the left and then release your arms, use them. Left one pulls, right one pushes, and we find the twist. Reminding you we twist from the ribs up. Low back isn't designed to twist, so don't ask it to. Inhale back through center. Exhale, nose over knee. Make your twist first from your muscle power. Turn the gaze, release the arms, and use those as that yummy extra added effort to rotate through. Inhale back to center. Hands release back, roll back onto the sacrum. Find the grace and ease and movement. Switch your legs opposite side. Left is on top now. I like to take the fist to the earth and lift and shake out the pelvis. Put the sit bones down. Roll up onto sit bones and forward of them maybe. Hand on the knee. Big open heart. Arms come up on the inhale. And on the exhale, the right hand turn, nose over knee first. Find your twist. Look over to the right hand. Spin it back through center, inhaling and exhaling left. Nose over knee to start. Train the muscles. Look over left. Inhale back through center to the right. Release the arms. Use that as your push. Inhale back through center. Exhale left. Use that as the push. Inhale back to center. Release. Okay, yogis, let's move our blankets. Push them off to the side. Open our legs and start to move our pelvis. Right foot goes back behind you. Curl the toes under. Push your heel to the back of the room. Crown of the head to the front of the room. Back of the right knee pushed up towards the sky. See if you can reach the crown of your head to a landmark. What's outside your house there? Reaching out. I've got beautiful Lake Champlain in front of me there. Reach out, push the heel back. Find that opening. Yeah, let's articulate through our toes and foot now. Inhale forward onto the tips of the right toes and over onto the top of the foot. We find the plantar flexion of the ankle. And roll back through it. Feel all that release and lubrication of the toe joints and all the tarsal bones. Nice, yogis. Other side, take right forward, take left back, curl the toes under, push the heel to the back, crown to the front, back of the knee to the sky. Bring on the sensations. Inhale the body weight forward, tips of the left toes onto the top of the foot. Feel the plantar flexion of the ankle. Inhale, exhale, push back. Send it all the way back. Pause for a moment. Feel that release and stretch. Left one comes forward. We'll do our broken toe. Curl the toes under. Big toe knuckles touch. Inside ankle bones touch. Maybe this isn't nearly as restricted as it used to be. For those of you guys who have been practicing with me now for years, see if this broken toe feels maybe a little bit more accessible. Remember your modifications, block under the knees or block behind the buttocks. If this doesn't feel comfy, push your hands down to your thighs, pull your low ribs in and let those shoulder blades release down your back. Find the freedom in the neck. Draw the middle fingers down towards the earth. Maybe the fingers will touch the ground. See if you can envision them going deep down into the ground as the crown of the head goes right through the roof. Take your hands back behind you, interlace your fingers. Have the palmar surfaces touch, and touch your thumbs to the arches of your feet. Spin your shoulders back, open your heart. Inhale, and on your exhale, keep the elbows straight and find your shoulder extension. Elbows go back behind you. Shoulders open. Pinch the blades and draw the fists towards the earth. Let's reverse now. Inhale the arms up. Turn the palms to the sky. Let the bottom of the feet, the plantar aspect of the feet, release. Pull the low ribs in, back bend your upper back. Release the arms down to your side. And let's do a little twist here. Left hand on right knee. Take your right hand, maybe find your hip or just keep it on your back and see if you can find your rotation here in this kneeling position. Inhale, and on your exhale, reverse. Right hand on the left knee, maybe the back of your hand on your sacrum or over onto the right hip, and find your twist. Inhale back to center. Maybe you've forgotten about the feet for a moment, and on the exhale, release. Kick out the feet, bring some energy back, and let's reverse it now. Sit back to Virasana. It's plantar flexion of the ankles. If it's too much, slide a blanket under your instep or sit up on a prop. Right hand to right knee, clear the shin. Do the same on the left, clear the shin. And let's take our knees wide, big toes touch. Take your hands and slide them up the thighs to the very top of the groin. Anytime we forward fold, we want to internally spiral. So use your hands to internally rotate the hips. Look what happens. Your low back will arch. And let's see if we can slowly start to release down. Use your hands now, slide them out, and come down into your Sphinx arms. Press the hands and elbows into the earth and draw the crown of the head forward. Feel the length to the spine. So as we release to the earth, it's not rounding, but it's actually keeping the upper back flat if possible. Take the elbows out and see if you might be able to put your forehead or your chin down to the earth.
Shift your pelvis to the right and to the left, provided it's not pinchy in your hips. And feel that clearinghouse of the hips there, lubricating and softening. Pelvis comes back to neutral. Slide your hands up. Hands will touch the knees. Push up. Let's come up onto all fours and start our progression of our spine here now. Inhale. On the exhale, push back just a little bit. Arch your low back. Spread your sit bones and start to feel the energy move into the low back. Inhale the body weight forward. Release the feet. And first round, just push the pelvis forward a bit. Not rounding the upper back, elbows slightly bent, and push the pelvis forward. Feel that opening at the front of the hip flexors. Inhale, curl the toes under. On the exhale, push back, maybe halfway this time. Buns not quite back to heels yet. Deepen the hip flexion crease. Inhale, release the feet. On the exhale, unfurl the cobra. Let the heart shine forward, blades down the back. Neck is free. Inhale. Exhale, look over your right shoulder, see your heel back behind you. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, look over your left shoulder, heel behind. Inhale, back to center. On the exhale, push back, curl the toes under, and push your buns all the way back this time if possible. Deep hip creases, deep knee flexion. See if maybe you can get your forehead onto the earth and the elbows down onto the earth. Inhale back up, release the feet. Come through now for your hanging cobra, chest shines through. Inhale, exhale, look up, find that full extension through your spine. Inhale back to center, exhale, bend your knees, put your pelvis down. Keep the elbows in nice and tight. Inhale back up. Let's push back now. Wide child, we were just there. Knees wide, buns back, elbows down, forehead down. Shift pelvis right, shift pelvis left. Right and left a few times. Back to center. Inhale up. Exhale, release that beautiful hanging cobra to the earth. Bend the elbows. Put the pelvis down. Starting to find this lubrication in our spines, right? Come on up. All fours. Go into your cat-cow now, your interpretation. Finding each of the segments into extension first. And then into flexion. We know there are 24 different segments that you can actually move. See if you can find some of your stuck segments and release them. Like a rope, like a lasso being let out, right? And then let it dissolve into what feels right for you. Do a little side movements, maybe bending elbows, maybe shifting pelvis side to side. Feel what comes up for you today. Take a moment here. Let's open our thoracic spines. We know how to do this now. Find neutral, low back is arched, neck is arched. Take your hands, turn your fingers towards each other, and bend your elbows to 45 degrees. So when the elbows are bent to 45 degrees, the area of mobilization goes right behind the heart. Let's try it. Keep the low back and neck neutral. Inhale. Exhale, just drop your heart towards the ground. So you pinch the pencil between the shoulder blades. The elbows stay where they are, and we feel that beautiful movement between the blades. And then reverse it. Don't straighten the elbows, but puff up that middle back and send it towards the sky. Try to fight the feeling to move the neck and the low back if possible, and then go ahead and ride that wave several times, up and down, mobilizing that mid-thoracic spine. All right, yogis, let's stay along the path there with that thoracic mobilization. We'll do our 2-block stretch. I get a lot of good feedback on this one. Maybe a very quick look. You'll take your 2 blocks and put them down on the ground about 3 inches apart. Let me just show you the first part, and then I can talk you through it. We'll all start in the same place, elbows at the top of the blocks. You'll shimmy yourself back And then let your forehead and nose rest between the blocks. Go ahead and get into that place. Elbows at the top of the block. Triceps are on the block. Shimmy yourself back to open the arms. Remember on this one, it's about releasing the heart towards the earth, not hyperflexing your shoulders. Inhale, and on your exhale, karate chop arms. Take your arms forward. Try to straighten your elbows out and feel that amazing stretch of your triceps and backs of the arms. Bring it back again, bending the elbows, touching the thumbs into the neck. And then back again you go. See if you can release your heart towards the earth. Your forehead still resting in the blocks, gives us some space. This might feel challenging already. If it is, stay where you are. If you feel you've got some more space, then move back. So the elbows are now at the very bottom of the block rather than the top. Your forehead might be on the earth, and look what happens. That upper back really has to open. And then add your karate chop arms to it. Let's go ahead back and forth several times with that. Marry the breath with the movement. Try to find the opening through the upper thoracic. Be sure that you're not hyperflexing the shoulders, especially if you're hypermobile. And as I just said, that might be enough. And if it feels like, hey, I've got a pretty open shoulder and upper back, then take your blocks and put them up onto the next level. And that will increase, obviously, the amount of opening for your heart and upper back. So if you feel you can do that, they're up on the next level, and then start the whole process again. Elbows at the top, forehead rests. Start your karate chop arms here. And as the thumbs comes towards the neck, the heart releases towards the earth. Go ahead and take a few minutes with this. Get into the rhythm. Find your optimal position. Think about the setup of this. I'd love for you yogis to continue on with this on your own. After sitting at computers and rounding and all the stress in our systems, this is a beautiful way to open up that upper back. Take a minute or two here. Don't rush it. Concentrate on the spot behind your heart. Soften it. Marry the breath and the movement together. On the exhale, the big stretch, and on the inhale, they come back in again. Do maybe 3 or 4 more long breaths of opening that big thoracic spine. Feel the side body, your latissimus muscles, the triceps, the back body we don't see. See if you can see it in your mind's eye. What's happening back there? Think of the shifting of the tides and the fluids and the softening. Not a competition, not an end point, but the sweet journey of getting there. Pause now for your last breath and your extreme of the movement. Feel what you've done to open the heart, thoracic spine. Slowly release out of it. Let's find ourselves on our backs now. Crazy legs, knees together, feet apart, arms out in a T. Inhale, and on your exhale, let your right knee slide down the inside of your left shin as your legs release over towards the left. Remember, yogis, I like you to keep your knees in contact so the left knee doesn't just drop out, but we keep it in contact, bring it back up on the inhale and on the exhale, opposite side. It contains our sacroiliac joints that way and also strengthens the back muscles. So find that beautiful synchronous feel sliding up and down. Keep the legs moving, start to open Open the hips and add the arms to it now. Thumbs go into elbow creases, legs go one way, and the arms will start to move the opposite way. Inhale back to center and exhale. Legs one way, arms the other. We did some twisting already, so see if you can access the twist through the rib cage. Add the head to it on the next round, inhaling back to center. Exhale, the head follows the knees while the elbows go in the opposite direction. Head and knees one way, elbows the other way. You can have the eyeballs this round, inhale back up. Head and knees one way, eyeballs and elbows the opposite way. Inhale, gather it back to center. Exhale, release. Eyeballs, elbows, head and knees. Oh, so yummy. Loosening our spines and finding the awareness in our bodies. Beautiful. Last one. Let it drop to one side. And bring it back. One hand on each knee, draw the knees up towards the chest. If your back is not in any sort of acute episode here, roll off the ground. The sacrum will come right off the ground and you're on your low back here now. Deep hip creases. Inhale, and on the exhale, release the sacrum towards the earth. It's the triangle bone between the two pelvic bones. Notice as you imprint the sacrum, your low back finds a beautiful arch off the ground. Keep a press of the sacrum as you start to circle the hips. With the intention of the sacrum held down, we're not rolling everything around, but just the hips start to open. Reverse the direction of the hips now. If you're doing out to in, do in to out. And let's decompress our backs, bring them back to neutral. Hands are on the patellar tendons, not the kneecaps, just below. Inhale, and on your exhale, push your sacrum down. Push the knees up and pull the hands down. You're opening up the whole low back there and decompressing lumbosacral spine. Beautiful. Release the push. Notice how the low back flattens towards the earth. Inhale. Exhale, push the sacrum back, will rise. Push the knees up, pull the hands down. Hold that for a moment. Release. Take the right leg over the left for our piriformis stretch. Ankle bone outside the knee, right hand on the thigh of the right leg. Push that leg open. Notice as you push it open that your pelvis doesn't skew, but just open through the hip. Inhale. Exhale, push the hand towards the knee and the knee towards the hand on the right. The butt muscles will contract. And as they release now, let it go, the push, the hip will open another notch. Let's do the same thing one more time. Keep the toes of the right foot towards the knee. Inhale, exhale, give a push with the right hand, but push back with the right knee. Hold it for about 8 seconds. Then release and see if you can inspire a little more opening of the hip. You got it. Let's go deeper now. Slide the right hand through the hole in the legs. Grab the left hand behind the left knee. Keep the left knee relaxed to start with. Please try to keep your sacrum imprinted so the low back arches. You won't draw your knees to your chest as far as if your back was flat, but the stretch goes right into that right hip, the deep six on the right. See if you can slowly draw it in. Maybe your right elbow or arm is long enough to hold the right hip. Inhale, and on your exhale, straighten out your left leg. Notice as you straighten out the left leg, you're going to imprint your sacrum again. So you're not rolling the low back up, but the sacrum stays imprinted as the toes come towards the face and we feel the whole stretch of the posterior aspect of that left leg. Take that ankle and move it from dorsiflexion to plantar flexion. That just means toes to the sky and toes to your face. Maybe you got a snappy ankle. Maybe you can feel the opening of the back of the left leg. Pull the toes towards your face. Slide your hands down now to the very top of the thigh, the groin. Push the back of the left thigh into the hands and your hip will soften. Pause here for a moment. Shoulder blades are down towards the earth. If you feel your core and left quad is strong enough, take your hands off the back of the leg and use your muscles to hold. If it feels like it's unstable, then keep your hands where they are. If you're holding, release. Everybody bend your left knee. Put your foot down on the ground. We'll do a single leg bridge. Inhale. Exhale. Push the left foot down. Pull the imaginary egg up into your pelvis. Bring your belly towards your spine. And then lift your hips off the ground. Try to get your pelvis to open here. The right knee releasing towards the earth and the pelvis pushing skyward. Put your left hand on your left butt cheek. You'll see it's pretty fired up. Right butt cheek, maybe not so much. So squeeze an imaginary marble between your cheeks and look what happens. Your pelvis rises. Release the hands back to the earth. Stay here in your single leg bridge for a moment. Start to release the spine to the ground. You come down oh so slowly. And as you come to the bottom of the rib cage, skip the low back, imprint the sacrum, and soften. Beautiful. Let's roll over now and find our beautiful stretch and rotation. Inhale. On the exhale, roll over to your left side. The right foot goes down onto the ground. You can take your left hand on the top or the bottom of the shin. Your head will rest on a prop or on the ground. Underneath leg, most important cue here, crawl it to the back of the mat. Try to get your left quadricep to be parallel to the side of the mat there. See if you can maybe grab the left shin or foot or ankle with the right hand. Bring the heel close into the buttock and then the other heel close into your hip. And see if maybe you can roll yourself onto your back through your rib cage. You can use that left elbow, press into the earth to raise the heart. That's a little trick to get the rotation. And see if you can find your extreme. Go ahead and use the right leg as the screen door opening and closing. Articulate the hip socket. Start to move even more energy through there. Good. Let the hip soften. Bring the leg back to its neutral. If you're holding your underneath leg, release it. Let's roll onto our backs. Right leg still crossed. And attend to the other side. Let's even off our bookends. Nice, yogis. Put your right foot down. Take the left one up. Cross the left ankle over the right knee. Toes pull towards the knee. Push the knee towards the bottom of your mat. Remember, we don't push so hard that we skew the pelvis. Let's use our contract relax here now to open the hip more. Inhale. Exhale, push the hand to the knee to the hand. Hold that. Release and yeah, the hip will open a little bit more. Do it one more time. Inhale. Exhale, hand towards knee towards hand. Left butt cheek muscles contract. Release and yep, opens up a little bit more. Slide the left hand through the hole in the legs. Grab the right hand behind the right knee. Remember, keep the sacrum imprinted so you won't roll your low back off the floor, but you'll open your left hip and soften into the muscles. Shoulder blades are down. Inhale, and on your exhale, straighten out your right leg. Do your dorsiflexion, plantar flexion of that right ankle, up and down. Maybe snapping your ankle, moving the bones, and feeling that posterior line start to stretch. Bring the toes back towards the face. Slide the hands down, the thigh towards the top of the thigh and the groin. Keep the blades down. Push the back of the right hamstring flesh into the hands. If you're stable enough, release the arms. Use the core and right quad to hold the pose for a moment. If you're holding the back of the leg, everyone release. Put your right foot down on the ground close to the buttock. Let's do our single leg bridge. Inhale, exhale, push the bottom of the right foot into the earth. Pull up the imaginary egg, tack down the belly, and lift up. Try to get your pelvis level with the knee. The left hip drops open. Try the hand again, right butt cheek pretty contracted, left one maybe a little softer. Squeeze the marble between the buns. Look what happens, the pelvis rises. Pause here for a moment, strengthening and stabilizing. Slowly start to release to the earth, down through the thoracic vertebrae to the top of the rib cage, and then release the sacrum. Try not to flatten the low back. Let's roll it on over now. Inhale, and on the exhale, roll over onto your right side, left foot down on the earth. Right hand will hold the shin. The head's on the ground or on a prop. Underneath leg, crawl it to the back of your mat. Bend the underneath leg. See if you can grab your shin, your foot, or your toes. Use the pull of the hand to bring the heel towards the buttock. And see if you can roll onto your back through your rib cage, finding the opening through the rib cage, finding your comfortable position. Left leg will be your screen door. Go ahead and open and close the screen door. Yeah, maybe tighten it up a little bit more, shoulder blades onto the earth. You can use the right elbow pressing in into the ground to rotate. And if you're holding your underneath leg, release it. Onto your back, your left leg crossed on top for a moment. Take the left hand and push the hip open. Good. Let's enliven our hamstrings for a moment here. Keep your sacrum pressed. Bring your knees to your chest. Take the soles of your feet to the sky and pound your hamstrings. See if you can bring some awareness and some softness into those hamstrings. Let's move into happy baby here. So happy baby, the happiest babies, keep their sacrums imprinted. Keep the sacrum down, bring the knees up, not from rounding the back, and see if maybe your feet are obtainable here. If not, take a strap over the bottom or just keep your hands behind your knees and see if you can keep the sacrum imprinted down onto the earth. Elbows can come in and take the knees wider. Crown of the head is not pressing the earth or the back of the skull, lightly pressing. Just send your sacrum down here. Such a wonderful decompression. Let's move from happy baby into soles of the feet coming together, the cradle baby. Hands go through the hole in the legs. Your heels will rest in your palms. Elbows can open out the groin and put your sacrum back down again. Look what happens. Your low back moves into its arch. Let's see if we can move gracefully back and forth from happy baby into baby cradle. So inhale, and on the exhale, switch the hands back to the outsides of the feet. And without moving your spine, see if you can get the soles of the feet back towards the heaven. Go back and forth with that a few times. Yogi, soles of the feet together, hands shift, so heels go into the palms. Use your elbows to lengthen and keep the neck so long. Sacrum stays down, low back arched. One more time, back into baby cradle. And back into our happy baby, and then back into the cradle, yes. Let your feet to the earth. Let's roll over onto our right side. And come on up to all fours. And this time we're going to move into the frog pose. You might want to have a blanket underneath your knees. Sometimes people feel this uncomfortable. You might also want to have a block or a bolster ready for you to put underneath your bellies. Take your knees wide and then take the feet wide. You can see what I'm doing with my legs here like a frog. Toes are turned out. If you happen to be at a wall, you can push your feet into the wall. Come down onto your elbows. So what we're going to do here now is oscillate back and forth, pushing forward and then pulling back. So side view, You can see, don't have the low back so arched, but in neutral, push it back, get that deep hip internal rotation, and then pull it forward. So what's really moving here are just our hips, right? We're not really shifting the pelvis and back. See if you can come back and forth several times. And then come on back to neutral, and then maybe you let your knees out a little bit wider, trying to bring the top of the pelvis down onto the ground, or slide a prop underneath your chest and see if you can lower yourself down and feel that frog pose opening. Knees can slide out a little bit farther, and see if you can take your feet out a little bit more to open the knees to 90 degrees. We haven't done this one in 1,000 years, so some of you might be like, oh my goodness, what's going on here? Well, here we are back at it, trying to open up some of those stuck spots. This is pelvic floor, low back release. Pause for a moment here. Give it up. Whatever you're holding, soften. And then the safest way to get out of it, if you're on the ground already, press up with your hands, bring your feet together and push up, and the knees will come together back to Virasana. Beautiful, yogis. Let's stand up. Find Tadasana. Okay. So with Tadasana, everybody's legs are slightly different. So if your legs are bowed, they won't come together. Let's see what you can find. Big toes touch, heels are slightly apart. Lift and fan your toes and put them down. See the color between your toes on your mat. That's your grounding. We're right into the earth. Beautiful. Remember, anatomically, we're ground to the earth. Energetically, we're rising. So feel the rise at the same time as the press. Tighten your quads a little bit. Take your hands onto the tops of your thighs. And as you push your thighs back, your low back will arch. That's what we want. We want to have that arch in the low back. Take your tailbone now and push it straight to the earth. So you're not tucking under, but descending. And all the deep belly muscles pull in. Bind in those low ribs. Take your hands back behind you for your presentation arms. And release the little fingers towards the thighs. From the elbows down, spin the palms in, middle fingers towards the ground now, crown towards the heavens. Close your eyes for a moment. We're not marble statues. You can waver around a bit here, but we're contained. The tower won't fall, but it might sway in the wind. Open your eyes and inhale your arms up. Go back into your steeple hands, index fingers to the sky, elbows squeeze the ears, ribs contain in, back bend that upper back. Release your hands back to your sides. Face forward again. Let's strengthen our glutes. So reminding you, gluteus maximus, the big butt muscle, we're doing gluteus medius, it's the guy on the side. Gluteus medius so important in our walking and in our standing poses. As you step forward onto your foot, if your gluteus medius isn't working, your hip will drop to the side. So what I'd like you to try to see today is the pelvis coming over on top of the fixed leg. That's what we're looking for. Okay, yogis. Stand to the bottom of your mat. I'm going to shift my mat forward here just so I'm on a level surface. And let's step forward with our right foot. So step forward with the right foot and we'll find Tadasana. Big toe, little toe, heel, the cuboid bone on the outside of the foot. Shift the weight forward onto the right foot, toes of the left foot still on the ground. Hip stays contained, don't let it drop to the side as you pick your left leg up. If you pick your left leg up and you're wobbling, then just keep the toes down. See if you might be able to pick the leg up and take your arms out to the side. Find that pillar, try not to wobble. Step back with your left foot, find the ground. It's the same thing, let's not waste the movement here. Put your left foot back, left leg's the stable one now, as you transfer the right leg back behind you. Back to Tadasana. Let's do the other leg. Inhale. On your exhale, step forward on your left foot. Big toe, little toe, heel, cuboid. Transfer the weight forward. Find the stability. Don't let the left hip drop out to the side. Pull in the belly. Take your right leg up. You can use your high wire arms here for stability. Step back right foot. Use that as your pillar. Transfer the weight back to Tadasana. So let's add to this several times. We're going to move eventually into our Vermont tree. The trees are starting to change right now. Let's think of these foliage trees as we move through this. Strong roots. Step forward onto your right foot. Transfer the weight. Find the stability. We know this stable limb. We lift this one. Arms come out. Your concentration stays on the right hip as you straighten your left leg and then bend it. So we're trying to throw ourselves off here by changing our lever arm, but our awareness is so keen on that right hip, we're staying stable. Step back with your left foot, find your stability, and transfer the weight back. Let's do the other side. Step forward, left foot, big toe, little toe, heel, cuboid bone on the outside. Transfer the weight so the stability comes from the foot platform through the knee right into the hip. If you lose the foot platform, it all starts to wobble. Draw the right leg up. Arms out for a little high wire balance. Extend and bend the right leg. Again, concentration is left side as we're trying to destabilize the system. Right foot back, find your stability. Step back, left Tadasana. Third round. Step forward onto your left foot. Transfer the weight. Find the stability. Bring the leg up. Take the arms out. Straighten out the right leg now. Keep the knee straight and sweep it back like a horse pawing the ground. What we're not trying to do is move the spine, but try to have it happen all from the hip, right? So you're using your gluteus maximus now on the right and your gluteus medius on the left. Like horses pawing the pasture. See if you can come through that. As graceful as possible. You're welcome to make horsey sounds if you'd like to. You're in the privacy of your own home. And see if you can come through this. It's gait pattern, the normal gait pattern for humans. Beautiful. Step back, right leg, step back, left leg. Find your Tadasana again. Other side, step forward on the right leg, find your stability. Back through your paces, lefty comes up, arms go out. Take the left leg forward and trace back through it. Opening the front of the hip, strengthening glute max left, glute med right. So important in all our postures and in our gait. Step back onto your left foot, step back onto the right foot, back into Tadasana. Okay, compass steps. We haven't done these in a while. You're standing on the center of a compass dial. So I'm just going to step forward so I don't back into the couch here. And what we'll do is come into a squat. So find the squat from your hips. Inhale. Exhale, step forward onto the right foot. Same thing we just did. Transfer the weight. Pick up your left leg. We're staying in a squat. Step back with the left foot. Find the ground. Transfer back and pick up the right leg for your grasshopper. If you're not holding stability here, you'll wobble. Put the right foot forward. Step forward with the left, come into your squat. Let's go to the right, squat down, and come back to center. Let's do the other side. Step forward on the left foot, pick up the right leg. Step back on the right, transfer the weight back, pick up the leg. Transfer forward and step to the left and squat. Back to center. See if you can do this a few times. Work at your own pace. It's forward, it's back, it's side squat. Let's try it. Forward on the right, and back, and center, and squat. Center, forward on the left, and back, center, side squat. One more time, forward, backward, center, squat, forward, backward, center, squat. All the stability in our hips. Okay, let's build our Vermont trees. Step forward onto your right foot. Find the stability. We're just going to add to what we've done. Find the tree. Stable. Take the left leg up. Take the right arm up, the left arm down. Switch your arms if possible. Bring your concentration to the right hip and the wobbling will stay to a minimum. Hands back, step back onto the left foot, onto the right foot. Let's reverse, step forward left leg. Bring it up, find your stability. Left arm up, right arm down. Switch the arms. Building our tree, finding the stability. Step back right foot, step back left. Right foot steps forward, pick up the left leg again. This time both arms will go up. They'll come out to the side. Twist from the ribs up. Find your stability. Again, trying to knock ourselves over, but we're not going to. Hands back to the pelvis. Back with the left, back with the right. Step forward left leg, pick up righty. Arms. Find your rotations. Again, if your left foot and hip aren't stable, you'll wobble. Hands back to the pelvis, step back, step back. Into tree we go. Let's try not to use our hands till the end. Use the muscles and your brains to move into pose. Step forward onto your right foot. Transfer the weight. Bring the left leg up. We've just done all of this. Take the left leg out, the knee will come out. And wherever your foot lands, and it's okay if it's inside the knee, give a push in and a push out and find your strength. Hands to the heart, and maybe the hands will come up from our Vermont tree pose. Rustle the leaves. Maybe take the hands back to the heart. Spin the leg forward. Step back left foot. Step back right foot. Let's do the other side. Step forward onto the left foot. Transfer the weight. Bring the leg up. Take it out from the strength. Let your foot land. You can use your hand to help to guide it a bit if you'd like to. Knee towards the ground. Front flush pelvis. Hands to the heart. Take your foliage up. Rustle your leaves. Bring your hands back to heart center. Bring the leg forward and step back. So beautiful, yogis. Let's do our forward progression with our blocks. Kind of warmed up now. Take your block into the groin. Tadasana legs. One of the premise of our practice is building the poses, right? So here we are, Tadasana, we've done it. We'll do quarter, half, three-quarter, and full movements. Hands on the pelvis. Let's use our hands and our brains to guide us. Inhale. Exhale, Tadasana legs. Squeeze the block and push it forward like a Pez candy dispenser. Elbows come in and find your back extension, just your low back, right? Your hips are pushed forward and we find extension in our low back. Inhale it to forward. Exhale, squeeze the block, push it back. Find your stable legs, anteriorly rotate the pelvis, flex the hips, and just arch the low back. That's a quarter of the range. Inhale back up. Exhale, Tadasana, feet, squeeze the block, take it forward, posteriorly rotate the pelvis, open the fronts of the hips, bring the elbows in. Low back will arch and then come into the bottom of the rib cage, start to shine the heart towards the sky. The neck still stays tucked, or the chin. Inhale back to center, exhale, ground the feet, squeeze the block, take it back, anteriorly tilt the pelvis, flex the hips, arch the back, low back, and come into a flat upper back, halfway down, right crown of the head towards the top of your mat. Pause for a moment. Inhale yourself back up. On the exhale, squeeze the block, take it forward, and start to come in your back bend. Push the block forward. Your core muscles will fire up to stabilize, come through the bottom of the rib cage, and push your heart towards the sky. The neck still stays out of it. Inhale back to center, exhale, squeeze the block. Go back through this, push it back. Come down through an arch in your low back, a flattened upper back. And maybe slide your hands down your shins now towards the ground. You can maybe let your head release. Your hamstrings getting a little tug. Inhale the head back up. Exhale, come on back up all the way. Go right back into your extension. Squeeze the block. Posteriorly rotate. Push the hips forward. Low back. Heart. And maybe let your head release back for your expression of back extension. Inhale it all to center, and then the cascade of events bringing you back down. Squeeze the block, take it back behind. Flexion at the hips. Preserving our curves, bringing the crown down, maybe the hands down and the hands down onto the earth, some blocks, maybe keep them on your shins. Let's find our release here in forward bend. Back body stretching, keeping the weight evenly distributed on the balls of the feet and the heels, Tadasana legs. Let's take our thumbs to our hip creases, push into the hip creases, and draw your body back up to tall stand position. Remove your blocks, and let's go into Utkatasana now, our chair pose. Same rooting of our feet, Tadasana legs. Inhale your arms up. On the exhale, pull the low ribs in and back bend your upper back, look up at your hands. So the opening is from your upper back, don't go into a low back arch or excessive. Inhale again, and on your exhale, you guys know I use this cue all the time, the Vermont ski jumper, and here we are in the beautiful state. Come on down, middle fingers touch the ground, take them back behind you. See if you can sit your buttocks back, yogis, and take your arms way back behind you. Inhale, and on the exhale, peel your ribs off your thighs, shine your heart to the front of the room, look up, and then take your elbows to your ears and sit your buttocks back a little bit farther. If your quads are burning, sit back and your glutes will take over. Inhale up through your Tadasana feet, pull the low ribs in, back bend your upper back. Exhale, sweep down, Vermont ski jumper, sit back again, sit back. Take your arms back. Take your palms up towards the sky. Inhale, and on your exhale, peel the ribs off. Thighs, shine the heart forward, and let the elbows skirt by the ears as you sit your buttons back. Inhale, back up. Exhale, release your hands to your sides. Let's do a little triangle action today. We haven't done triangle in a while. So have your blocks ready for you. We'll stand in a wide stance. Take your right foot forward and put your block down on the outside of the right ankle. I'm just going to turn so you can see me. Take your left leg back. How far do you go back? Take your arms out. Your right wrist should be over your right ankle. Your left wrist over your left ankle. And your back foot turned in slightly, internally rotated. Take your hands to your pelvis. Be sure the pelvis stays flush, that you're not already rotated. Ribs forward. Beautiful, yogis. Find your Tadasana feet. Lift and fan the toes. Put them down. Especially the back leg, cuboid bone, pushes to the earth so you don't end up pronating into your foot. Press down into the earth. Find that Apanavayu grounding and lifting concurrently. Take your hands to your waistline, onto the pelvis. Left hand will stay on the pelvis. The right hand, the web space, goes onto the top of the thigh. Inhale. On your exhale, push your right hand deep into that hip crease. And we'll start like a fancy drape to drape over to the right. If you push your right hand deep into the hip crease, it seats the hip and you come over nice and easy. Take the left hand, thumb into the armpit, and lengthen your spine first. So we're not coming down in flexion, we're coming down in this long spine. Rotate the heart towards the sky and then release the hand to the block. Find the block. Continue to keep the legs straight if possible. And if it feels like you've got more space, release the block down to the next level. Maybe your hand just goes to the earth. Spin the heart open. Look up. If your balance is there, find your stable legs. Take your left hand up, Trikonasana. Here's an interesting cue. In your mind's eye, find your tailbone and move the tailbone towards the left ankle. Look what happens there. It's a micro adjustment, and we find some stability. See if you can open your heart. In a moment, we'll stand up. Bring your block with you if you need it for the other side. Find your strong legs. It's all about the legs to bring us up stable. Inhale, bring yourself up. And on the exhale, switch to the other side. So you'll have the block on the outside of the left foot. Right foot is back. Find your very long stance here. Wrists over elbow or ankles. Lift and fan the toes. Find the stability. Hands to the front of the pelvis. Face flush. Hands to the, press down first. Find the grounding and the lifting. Hands to the waistline. Onto the pelvis. Right hand stays on the pelvis. Left hand goes into the top of the hip. Inhale. Exhale. You're pushing on your thigh bone. Look what happens as you push the ball deep into the socket. We start to find our shape. Thumb goes into the right thumb into the armpit. Lengthen the spine and rotate the heart. Start to let the left hand slide down to the shin, to the block, to the floor, whatever your hand goes to. Spin that heart open. Take the right hand up. It's your legs that are the stable pillars. So really ignite the legs. Look up if that's in your abilities. And we'll switch back to the other side. Bring the brick with you if you need it. Inhale yourself up. Exhale, switch back other side. We pivot on our heels. Less cues from me on this side. You find your way into pose. And if you'd like to do your extended triangle, inhale, and on your exhale, take that left hand over the crown of the head. Spin the heart to the sky. We have such strong legs here. Nothing will knock you over. Inhale it back up. Switch the block if you need it, or if you have two blocks, just have them on either end. Release down into your pose again, nice and warmed up. Find your own tray. Trikonasana, and then maybe extended triangle, arm coming over. Inhale back up, tall stand. Turn the toes. Let's go into our yogic squat. Toes are forward if possible. Start to release the perineum down towards the earth. You can certainly turn the feet out if you need to, or have a blanket underneath your heels if your calves are tight, and release the perineum down to the ground. Take the elbows inside the knees. Thumbs will touch the heart, and the heart opens. Our upper back is free. Let's release the low back here now. Inhale, and on the exhale, squeeze the knees in, push the elbows out, and it softens the whole back. The energy moves through. Release that, inhale. Exhale, press out again, elbows push out, knees push in. Remain here if you'd like to do your Molasana, your forearm balance pose. Take the hands forward. Hands come onto the ground, widespread. We find them, they're down dog hands, and we roll onto the balls of the feet. Press the elbows out into the knees and the knees into the elbows. Find your balance point, and perhaps you'll take your feet off the ground and find your balance pose. Release the feet. Come deeper down into your squat. Yes. Release the hands back behind you. Go ahead and have a seat. Take the soles of the feet together. Draw them out in front of you for a diamond shape. Thumbs into the arches of the feet. Do a little bit of massage on the medial arch of the foot. Roll up onto the sit bones. Take the elbows inside the knees if possible. Remember, we don't come down with a rounded back. Come down with the arches in your back. So maybe some of you are already at your maximum. See if maybe you can take your elbows outside the shin. Pull the crown of the head towards the top of your mat. And for a moment, sink into your pose here. Not dropping in flexion, but keeping the whole length to the spine. Exploring the opening in your hips and length to your spine. Nice. Bring yourself back up to tall sit, feet on the ground. We'll lower ourselves to the earth here, arms out in front. Inhale, and on your exhale, pull your belly in and very slowly start to release yourself down to the earth. Draw the knees to the chest, roll the back off the floor, and put your feet back down. Stretch your legs out. Bottom of your mat and take your arms up over your head. Reach way out. This is our advantageous breath capturing position, the huge circumference of the rib cage. Take an inhale through the nose. Those lungs will fill up to the size of the cage. Hold the breath for a second at the end of your inhale. Let the lungs recoil and then use your abdominal muscles to push out all the rest of the sludge. Take 2 more really deep inhales and exhales. Purifying the system, this conscious breath, our way of creating this even balance in our systems, in our energies. Bring your arms back to your sides. Grab your mat with your fists. Inhale, and on your exhale, push your hands towards your feet. Your body will slink up the mat an inch or so right into Shavasana. Cover your eyes or close your eyes and have your palms towards the sky. See if you can let all the muscles in your body soften. Offer your best self up to the heavens. Touch the tip of your tongue to the roof of your mouth behind your teeth. That's a still calming point. It's another ticket, an entree into our relaxation zone. Let your tongue release now to the bottom of your mouth. The lips will part slightly. No tongue and no teeth, no gripping, no grinding. It's a soft, vacuous mouth. That softness, that openness is relayed to the rest of the system as you drift off into your Shavasana. Allow yourselves to float out. Start to lose the sense of where your body ends and space begins. And enjoy your magic carpet ride for a moment or two here. Envision yourselves flying yogis out into the ether. Take a little trip.
have our yoga practice in our back pockets all the time. Wherever you go, it's with you. Sometimes we just close our eyes and find our breath and start that transporting of our cells back into a quiet place. Find the marble on the back of your skull, let your head rock very slowly side to side. Start to wake the system. Maybe begin to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Bring your physical bodies around. Then bend your knees, slide your heels towards your body, glue your knees and ankles together and roll over onto your right side. It's our transition position. Often as we roll into this position, our minds are flooded with beautiful thoughts of kindness, of generosity, of altruism, and of seva, our selfless service. With your eyes closed on this right side, see if you can see beautiful Lake Champlain, glistening water, beautiful New York Adirondacks mountains on the other side. It's bucolic and green and peaceful and relaxing. We find these places and we transport ourselves sometimes in practice back to those sweet places we adore. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. May all beings everywhere be happy and free, and may the thoughts, words, and actions of my own life contribute in some way to that happiness and to that freedom for all. Inhale, and on your exhale, very slowly draw yourself back up to a seated position. Maybe recognizing on your way back up a different state of mind and maybe a lubricated body. Fingertips to the earth. Grounding, rising, rooting, rising. Big, beautiful maple trees. Glorious. Draw the energy up from the ground to your heart center, thumbs to the heart will rise. We pause here to remind ourselves to be so grateful for all we have. Inhale, and on your exhale, release the hands forward, fingertips touch, palms open. Sweep it back in again, backs of the hands roll, thumbs to heart. Take your thumbs up to your third eye, between your eyebrows. It's a still contemplation point, an all-seeing eye, or ESP eye. Clarity spot. Let's bow today to these green mountains. Namaste. Thank you, yogis. Thank you, friends, for joining me here in my special place. I hope you will visit Vermont sometime if you haven't. See if you can conjure up some beautiful thoughts of the coming foliage. I'm going to hang out for a little bit. Would love to chat with a few of you. And we'll be back next Sunday. I'll be back in Michigan again, so I'll see you lakeside.